And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics, and now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we have got an absolutely magnificent show for you today. This week has been phenomenal with regard to the guests and the subjects that we've been doing. You just don't want to miss any part of it. But first, I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 63 degrees. A little later in the show, we'll be giving you some of the temperatures around the world where we're listened to on our globally syndicated network. But right now, I want you to know that on today's show, it's going to be as normal. We're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about new legislation. The IRS loses, and then we'll continue our news segment. That's our tribute to the late great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today's show, we're going to be talking about Uneasy Rider. It's a great story. You can't even guess what that's going to be all about. And then, of course, we'll have our own Sean LaFave is going to be here with another segment of Geared for Wellness. Boy, if you missed his segment on Tuesday, did you really miss one? We were talking all about domestic violence with Sally Fry. Boy, it was a phenomenal show. Anyway, let's talk about the news right now. We've actually abbreviated so we could get you the top 10 things, and then you could actually have conversations with your friends and neighbors, and they'd think you know what's going on in the news. So let's get right to it. Here are the 10 things that you need to know for Thursday. Your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today and probably tomorrow too. And right up at the top, Trump refuses to say that he will accept the election results. The Republican stance threatens a fundamental pillar of American democracy, and Democratic rival Hillary Clinton declared his resistance horrifying. And what Indiana's election chief now says about voter fraud. Many of the thousands of altered registration forms that she flagged for potential voter fraud might just be the typical practice of residents rushing to correct their names or birth dates ahead of Election Day. And how long the battle for Mosul could last? Well, you know what? The commander of U.S. forces in the Middle East says that the fight against well-prepared Islamic State extremists could take months. And up next is the Iraqi Special Forces join offensive against the Islamic State. An Iraqi general says elite counterterrorism forces are expected to lead the way into Mosul, where they will face fierce resistance in an urban landscape. And Cleveland rocks as the Indians advance to the World Series. The team gets past Toronto and is one step closer to ending a title drought that dates back to 1948, baseball's second largest. And why Assange is at odds with Ecuador? Well, the WikiLeaks founder finds himself in conflict with his protectors as the group's latest dump targeting Clinton runs afoul of the South American nation's goal of warming up to Washington. And which NBA star was cleared in court? Well, the Knicks' Derrick Rose in a lawsuit that accused him and two friends of gang raping his ex-girlfriend when she was incapacitated from drugs or alcohol. And then Wells Fargo under criminal investigation in California. The state's attorney general is investigating whether the San Francisco-based bank committed false impersonation and identity theft in a sales practices scandal. And then European Space Agency loses contact with Mars probe. Signs are not good for Schiaparelli, which was meant to test technology for a future European robotic mission to Mars and part of a larger international mission to hunt for life on the planet. And then finally, co-founder of rock Electric Blues label dies. Chess Records' Phil Chess, who helped shape pop music by releasing works by Chuck Berry, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Etta James, and Ike Turner, dies at age 95. Well, you know what? Let's talk about some more in-depth news. That's what we need to get to, so we can talk a little bit more about what's actually been abbreviated just prior to this. And let's start off with the debate stunner, and that is that Trump won't say that he'll accept the election result, threatening to upend a fundamental pillar of American democracy. Donald Trump refused to say yesterday that he will accept the results of next month's election if he loses to Hillary Clinton. The Democratic nominee declared Trump's resistance horrifying. Excuse me. Trump had spent the days leading up to the third and final presidential debate warning voters that the election would be rigged. Asked whether he would accept the outcome if Clinton emerges victorious, he said, "I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense." Well, Trump's assertions raise the prospect that millions of his supporters may not accept the results on November the 8th if he loses, thrusting the nation into uncharted territory. Free and fair elections with the vanquished peaceability or peacefully stepping aside for the victor have been the actual underpinning of American democratic tradition since the country's founding 240 years ago. The Republican National Committee immediately disavowed Trump's statement. There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud, and election officials across the country have denied and denounced Trump's charges. You know what? He didn't necessarily. He is saying that it's going to be fixed. There's no question about that. But you know what? He's not saying that he's not going to accept it. He just says he wants to see it before he accepts it. That kind of makes a little bit of sense to me, doesn't it to you? Yeah. Well, you know what? Trump actually mocks the critics, and he says, I'll accept election results if I win. Mocking his critics, Donald Trump pledged Thursday or today to fully accept the outcome of next month's presidential election. If he wins, the Republicans said that he reserved the right to contest questionable results, deepening his unsubstantiated assertions that the race against Hillary Clinton could be rigged against him. Trump's comments came a day after his stunning refusal in the final presidential debate to say whether he would concede to Clinton if he loses. His resistance, threatening to undermine the essence of American democracy, was roundly rejected by fellow Republicans. Well, you know what? Arizona Senator John McCain, the 2008 GOP nominee, called the peaceful transfer of power the pride of our country. Yeah. And it is. You know, let's talk about something else. I'm so tired of politics, although everything in the news, everything around is politics. Iraqi special forces join battle for Mosul, and a U.S. soldier dies. In a significant escalation of the battle for Mosul, elite Iraqi special forces joined the fight today, unleashing a pre-dawn assault on the Islamic State. Held the town east of the besieged city, and the U.S. military announced the first American combat death since the operation began. U.S. officials said the American service member died today from wounds sustained in a roadside bomb explosion north of Mosul. More than 100 U.S. Special Operations Forces are embedded with Iraqi units in the offensive, and hundreds more are playing a support role in staging phases. You know, the Americans had been operating as an explosive ordnance disposal specialist in support of the Iraqi Kurdish force known as the Peshmerga. The U.S. officials said, speaking on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss the details. You know what? Not authorized because it's happened so soon. But you know what? I think it's just right that they tell the parents and the loved ones first, don't you? Yeah, I do. That's for sure. Listen, when we come back from this brief message, I'm going to talk about Turkey ramps up the fight against the Kurdish fighters in Syria. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Go away. We've got a fantastic show all lined up for you.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. Yeah. Well, you know what? Turkey ramps up the fight against the Kurdish fighters in Syria. Turkey escalated its offensive today against Kurdish fighters in northern Syria, pounding them with airstrikes and artillery and complicating the battle against the Islamic State group by Ankara and Washington, both NATO allies. In the fight for Aleppo, meanwhile, the Syrian military used a lull in violence to urge residents and rebels to evacuate the besieged opposition held part of the city. Turkey's state-run, Anadolu news agency said as many as 200 members of the Kurdish-led forces were killed in Syria's Aleppo province by the Turkish bombing and shelling. A senior commander with the main Syria Kurdish military confirmed the Turkish attack on his forces north of Aleppo, but disputed the casualty toll, saying that no more than 10 fighters were killed. Well, you know what? Like in Iraq, where Kurdish fighters are at the forefront of the offensive to retake the city of Mosul from the Islamic State group, Kurdish forces in Syria have also been battling IS militants and made significant territorial gains in Aleppo province. That has dismayed Turkey, which is dealing with a homegrown Kurdish insurgency and trying to prevent an expansion of Kurdish influence in Syria. You know, don't you just wish there could be peace on earth? Man, I sure wish it was that way. I can tell you that most Syrian refugees arriving in the United States are kids, and schools are having to adapt here. Seated at his desk at a suburban San Diego middle school, 12-year-old Abdullah Ashena tries not to let his mind wander to the painful memories of his life in civil war-torn Syria. His father disappeared suddenly 4 years ago, and the family believes was killed. Months later, Abdulmad's mother boarded a bus with her 6 children, and the youngest was 2, and fled to Jordan. The sound of bombs ringing in the distance. I think about my dad a lot, Abdulmid said. Recently, after practicing English at Cajon Valley Middle School, which has received an influx of Syrian children, I wish he would come back. Abdul Hamid is like many of the Syrian refugees arriving today in the United States. Nearly 60% of the more than 11,000 Syrian arrivals over the past year were children, according to the U.S. State Department. That's a larger percentage than some refugee groups, in part because Syrians tend to have larger families, and many have managed to stay together despite displacement, according to resettlement agencies helping the families acclimate to the United States. You know what? It's sad. It's just, the whole thing is just sad. Well, a U.S. ex-contractor committed breathtaking theft of secrets. A former National Security Agency contractor's theft of top secret government information was breathtaking in its longevity and scale. Federal prosecutors said in a court filing today, aimed at keeping the man locked up as the case moves forward. They said he took enough classified material to fill roughly 200 laptop computers. Can you imagine? The Justice Department also said it anticipated bringing additional charges against Harold T. Martin III, including charges under the Espionage Act, which would expose him to far harsher penalties if convicted. It described the evidence against him as overwhelming and said Martin admitted to investigators that he was illicitly storing classified materials. Wow. Jeez. Oh, I don't even know what to say. Other than if he's guilty, let's just rid him of his pain. Take him out behind the barn like the Chinese would do. Put a bullet behind his ear and bill his family. Well, the United Kingdom is deporting thousands convicted under past anti-gay laws. Thousands of men who were convicted under now abolished British laws against homosexuality are to receive posthumous pardons, the government announced today. Those who are still alive will be eligible to have their criminal records wiped clean. The Ministry of Justice said the pardons apply to men convicted of consensual same-sex sexual relations before homosexuality was decriminalized several decades ago. Men living with convictions can apply to the government to have their names cleared. Justice Minister Sam Gaimah said the government was trying to put right these wrongs. It is hugely important that we pardon people convicted of historical sexual offenses who would be innocent of any crime today, he said. Calls for a general pardon have been building since World War II. Codebreaker Alan Turing was awarded a posthumous royal pardon in the year 2013. You know what? Seems reasonable to me. Yeah, it does. You know what? Let's do an Associated Press fact check, and there's a sharp contrast between Gore in 2000 and Trump now. Donald Trump, who's rallied for months about a rigged political system, used the final presidential debate to defiantly say he won't decide until election ends whether he will accept the results. Pressed on that remarkable challenge to a keystone of the democratic process, his defenders have drawn a parallel to Democrat Al Gore's contest to the disputed 2000 presidential election. The comparison of what the Republican presidential candidate and his allies said what happened 16 years ago. Trump says, asked last month during his first debate against Democrat Hillary Clinton whether he would accept the election outcome, Trump said, the answer is, if she wins, I will absolutely support her. Asked virtually the same question yesterday by debate moderator Chris Wallace, Trump answered differently. He said, I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now, he said. Pressed by Wallace, he said, I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense. Well, you know what? Trump defenders say that several allies said Trump's stance recalled the 2000 challenge by Gore, the sitting vice president, to an election eventually won by Republican George W. Bush. Al Gore did not accept the results of the elections and said that he would, said Kellyanne Conway, Trump's campaign manager. He actually conceded to George W. Bush on election night in 2000 and then called and retracted his concession. You know what? That's the way things go. Now, anyway, that's enough of that. The news is beginning to depress me. I might have to put that in another section of our show one day. But right now, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something a lot more pleasant, and that is the IRS loses. We're going to talk about some pitfalls today, though. And the first one is return of a preparer's fraud is attributable to the taxpayer. And I'll tell you all about that right after we get back. Better listen, because you need to be careful.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And you know what? Normally in this slot, we would talk about the IRS loses. But you know what? I think we're going to kind of shift that a little bit. And let's talk about the pitfalls that are going on out there that you need to know a little bit about. You know what? There's a case here where the return preparer's fraud was attributable to the taxpayer. So listen to this. A truck driver, Vincent Allen, hired a tax professional to prepare his return for him. And the professional included several false deductions on the return without Allen being aware of it. Now, the IRS found out and asserted back taxes and penalties, but Allen objected that the 3-year statute of limitations had run out on the return. The IRS answered that the fraud had been committed on the return, so the limitation period didn't apply. But Allen protested that he hadn't committed the fraud, so he went to court. Now, this is what the judge said. They found for the IRS the return was fraudulent regardless of who committed the fraud, so no limitation period actually applies, even though it was the preparer. Remember, the preparer does it for you, and you sign under penalties of penalties of perjury that everything on there is true and correct. You're responsible for that return. How about this? Social clubs lose tax exempt status for receiving too much income from the public. So get this. Social clubs formed for the nonprofit recreational purposes of their members can be tax exempt under the tax code, but they can receive no more than 35% of their gross receipts from non-member sources, such as investment income, and no more than 15% from the use of the club's facilities or services by a general public, such as from renting out the club facilities. Now, there's a danger here. The IRS has recently issued several rulings revoking the tax-exempt status of social clubs that violated these limits. So, if you're an officer of such a club, beware of how much income it receives from the public. You want to be careful. You don't want to go there. Let me give you one more here. Couldn't get to small case tax court by disputing only part of the tax. Now, here's the thing. An individual protested an IRS collection action in tax court and sought to use the simplified small case division that it is available for cases involving no more than $50,000. But there's a snag. The total tax subject to collection was more than $60,000, but the individual conceded $20,000 and contested only $40,000 of the tax bill, saying this brought the case under the limit. Well, this is what the judge said. The tax code says that small case proceedings are available when the unpaid tax that the IRS has determined to collect does not exceed $50,000. The total unpaid tax in the IRS determination letter was $60,000, much over the limit. So the small case option is not available. Now, normally I tell you about, the IRS loses, but you got to use your noodle a little bit and be honest with what's going on here. Now, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. That's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS, very much like the Twilight Zone. Well, these are not tax court cases, but these are things that if you're aware of them, you can use them to your benefit. Knowledge is probably the most valuable thing that you can have in cases like this. And that's kind of where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS. The first subject up is making a deal to reduce your credit card debt can mean problems with the IRS. If you are solvent, that means your assets exceed your liabilities, and you compromise, which means you settle the amount of your debt owed to a credit card company, or any creditor for that matter. The amount of debt discharged represents taxable income. Now, many credit card companies will file a Form 1099-C, that's cancellation of debt, with the IRS to report the amount of debt that you were relieved of paying. Now, the best approach here is don't compromise your debt until you are insolvent or have the debt discharged in a bankruptcy proceedings. Otherwise, you're going to be in a real mess here. Let me give you one more. The tax preparers illegally claiming the earned income credit are the newest IRS targets. According to the IRS, 70% of tax returns claiming the credit are prepared by professionals. There's a significant amount of abuse as preparers pad their fees by making up numbers permitting taxpayers to get refunds, for the earned income credit, for which they don't really qualify. Now, how this increases the preparer's income? These preparers not only charge for the tax return preparation, but they also receive fees from lending institutions for arranging tax refund loans at very, very high interest rates for their low-income clients, by the way. Now, fees are based on the size of the loan and therefore on the size of the refund. So the IRS's approach, certain tax preparers who've been identified by the IRS will be visited during the year and shut down if violations are detected. But not only that, they're going to have to turn over their files to the IRS. When they do that, guess whose file is going to be in that drawer with these false statements on their tax return getting them the earned income credit? That's right. You. you. And you're going to be responsible not only for the credit, but the interest and the penalties as a result of that. And you may even have to defend yourself in court to prove that you weren't complacent in that fraud. That's the important thing for you to remember. Now, do not go away, because right behind these brief commercial messages, we're going to have our own Sean Lefebvre here with his Geared for Wellness Corner. And boy, I'll tell you what, he's got to talk a little bit about his Sally Fry that talked about domestic violence last Tuesday. What a fantastic show. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Sean Lefebvre and his Geared for Wellness Corner.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:34 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's the high today. The low is going to be about 64. But if you're listening to us on our syndicated global network and you're in New York City, it's 68 degrees and it's overcast. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, it's 54 degrees and it's still overcast. But you know what? If you're here in sunny Southern California, boy, I'll tell you what, you know why you live here. As a matter of fact, if you live out in Irvine or Newport or San Diego or the Inland Empire, holy mackerel, you know that you picked the right place to live, haven't you, Sean?
Yes, you have, because it's warm. It's very warm and sunny. It's like totally blue skies right now, and I tell you what, there's a lot of reasons to live in other places, but it's pretty hard to beat this one to live here.
So listen, don't you just miss the humidity of Wichita?
Oh gosh, yeah, every day.
And the bugs?
Every day, just like I miss smashing my thumb with a hammer. Yep.
Hey, listen, before we go too far, I have got to tell you, I've been raving about Sally Fry and domestic violence subject that we had last Tuesday. What a phenomenal show that was, and what an articulate young lady she is.
Yeah, she did a good job. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So I asked her, I said, well, you want to come on and do it again? She goes, maybe. I said, what do you want me to talk about? I said, sex. And she goes, really? I guess we're not going to talk.
Well, you know what? You might even, if we do that, you might even get a word in edgewise, because we'd want it to be a personal experience event, and I couldn't get involved in that.
So we may have her back. She's got a handful of items that she gets passionate about, and so yeah, I think that having her back, we need to bring on. We haven't brought in many guests here in a while. We need to get Sarika back on here.
Yeah.
I got a couple others. Dan Pompa that I'd love to bring on. There's a few I'd love to bring onto the show, so yeah, we need to bring on. I like having guests on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I don't know about for you. I mean, first of all, it seems like I lose a day every day I have you on the air. But boy, that one Tuesday, just God, we no sooner started this segment and it was over.
Yeah. It went by quick, but it was good. It was powerful.
Yeah,
it was really good stuff.
Well, I hope you
know what I'm looking forward to is 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today. What's happening 2 weeks from today? The election?
2 weeks? No, that's later.
2 weeks from today. Are you getting a free lunch 2 weeks from today?
I am getting a free lunch. I think I'm getting jambalaya or something.
Yeah,
like that.
we're gonna fix you a free lunch at Cardoza.
Exactly, Cardoza, my favorite place to eat. And we're gonna do a full 2 hours, just me and you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. You're gonna have to get here a little early, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll get there early, make sure we get some jambalaya, and then we're going to do, both of us going to be there in the studio at the same time. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a great time.
It is just going to be fun. That's all I can say about it. So listen, talking about fun, did you accidentally happen to watch the presidential debate last night?
Yeah, it was a very intentional accident, too. A buddy of mine who lives up in Huntington Beach said, hey, I'm going to watch the debate. You want to come over and watch it? We can hang out and make some grub. And I said, sure. So I went over and watched it with him. And it was, I will say, Trump was very poised. I thought he did a good job. He was more like the Trump that you saw 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? I'm just kind of amazed at how entertaining watching two liars for an hour and a half can keep you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I on the liar Richter scale, she was a 7.0, and he was only like maybe a 3.0.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that his stuff was perfect, but he was nothing like Hillary.
Oh, so. Yeah. I tell you what, she just really abused not only the Chris Wallace, but I mean, the rules are there, and she started breaking the rules right from the very beginning. And the first half hour went really, really well. It was a give and take, and she shut up and let him talk, and he shut up and let her talk, and then all of a sudden, with the little zingers that were going back and forth, created probably a non-control instance where they just had to start going at each other.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought like you said, it was about the first 30 minutes. It was like, wow, this is really civil. Everyone's behaved. The audience was even behaving themselves. There was no clapping, no booing, no cheering, no laughing even allowed. And every time they did, Wallace was like, oh, baby, everybody calm down, just calm down, no noise coming from the peanut gallery back here. And so it was an interesting debate. It was nothing really earth shattering because they're so I don't know a single topic that they actually agree on. Normally, even if it's a Democrat and a Republican up there, you're going to at least have some overlap, but they seem to have pretty much no overlap on anything.
Oh yeah, no, there is no overlap on anything that they have. And but I can tell you this, Sean. I was celebrating that was the last presidential debate because I'm so sick of this this childishness that's going on with two adults that 70% of the nation doesn't want as president of the United States? It has no choice.
We keep hearing that number, and I look at I look at what happened with Ronald Reagan. He was behind in the polls for a good time.
I'm not talking about the polls now, and I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
you said 70% of the people don't want either one of them. And
that's right.
And I think those numbers are skewed. I don't think it's quite. I know a lot of people who like Trump and want Trump presidency. I'm talking people from every race and cultural background that you could think of. I know a very small handful of people who actually want Hillary Clinton to win. I mean, I know ones that are going to vote for her because they just don't like Trump, but it's not because they like Clinton. I know very, very few people who go, yeah, I think Clinton's awesome. I think a lot of people are ashamed, and I think this is the part that I'm tired of more than anything else is both sides are trying to shame the other side for actually being supportive of the person they want to vote for. We have to vote. Yeah. You got to vote. We got to support. We have to get behind somebody. I can't. This constant rhetoric of I hate both of them. I hate both of them. Well, you're going to vote somebody in the office. You got to find something about this person that you like, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's you like Hillary Clinton's clothes. Or if you like.
Here's the thing. Unfortunately, the decision you have to make is which is the lesser of two evils. It's got nothing to do with personality. It's got nothing to do with their clothes. It's got to do with who do you think will do the best job representing the majority of people of this country. And the fact is that most people don't like either one of these candidates, but having given a choice, they're pretty much neck to neck.
See, that's what I don't get. When you say the lesser of two evils, I look at Hillary Clinton and I'm like, she is evil.
Oh yeah, she belongs to a lot of time. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I believe that she should have been put in jail. I think that she should have been arraigned. I think that she broke the law, and I think that her and her husband think that they're above the law and can do anything they want to do. I think Donald Trump is absolutely right with that. I also think that even though he has all these denials, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. The dumb thing is that he opened his mouth like that. But Ronald Reagan, as you speak, did the same thing. I'm not so sure that sometimes that's not calculated, that they know the mic is live and they want to create controversy.
Well, I don't know that he would create. I mean, who's going to do something like that going, 11 years from now, this is going to create controversy when I run for president of the United States? I can't imagine that he was doing that hoping to create controversy.
Well, that's true, except for this one thing. Donald Trump, 11 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, was proud to be a womanizer. He was proud to be the bachelor out there doing his thing.
Sure
he himself made a big deal out of it, and as a single man back then, nobody thought any less of it. But now all of a sudden, there are some issues that are coming out, whether they're true or not true, I don't know. Donald Trump did say something that hit home with me, and that was, you know what? These 10 women are accusing me of doing these things in public places, on an airplane, in a dinner house, in a auditorium. Really, folks? I did that to somebody in a public place. I draw crowds everywhere, and there are no witnesses?
Yeah. One of the richest, most powerful men in the world, and he's going to hit on. And I'm sorry, I hate to be sexist when I say this, but these women, they're not attractive women. But he loves attractive women. He doesn't just like women; he likes really, really attractive women.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I mean, he's not the best looking guy I've ever seen. But the truth is that for all men, the women all get prettier at closing time.
Well, from what I understand, he doesn't drink, though, does he?
Oh no, he doesn't.
Yeah, so there's that.
That was a joke.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
But the point is, that he is attracted to beautiful women. He said it. You can read it in his books. He goes, "I love beautiful women." And there's nothing wrong with loving beautiful women.
You remember that old philosophical song, right? If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife.
Yeah, that's the truth, man. Yeah, it's true. You know, but yeah, I mean, and the allegations against him, they've pretty much been all but completely. And I don't know if every single aspect of every single allegation, but they've been for the majority all debunked. You know, like even the woman that says she said he lifted up the airline seat or handrail or hand armrest. I mean, and everyone's like, there's not a single first class airline seat out there that has an armrest that raises.
That's right.
So, so obviously, clearly, she's either never ridden in first class.
Well, first of all, the guy's got his own airplane. What's he doing on a commercial plane?
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so, these things, why is it that all of a sudden, 2 weeks, before or 3 weeks, whatever it is, before the election, everyone's going to come out and say, well, he did this. Really? Like you couldn't, just because an audio recording, I honestly believe exactly what he said. I believe that this was put out by the Clinton camp. This was just a way to try to slur his name more. And I think that, when you say 70% of the people don't even want Trump, I think the media has driven that.
But you're right. That's not me saying it. I'm quoting other periodicals and media and shows that I have listened to.
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's what you'll read. And that was kind of the point that I wanted to make was that the media is going to perpetuate, whether it's politics or it's healthcare or whatever. The media is going to portray what the system wants the media portrayed. I believe that more. I didn't used to believe that. I didn't used to think. I thought the media was, not biased and that they reported the news. And I think maybe a long time ago they did. But we even talked about this before. William Randolph Hearst. 100 years ago, he said, "You give me the pictures and I'll supply the war." Basically, look, I'll make it look like whatever you want it to look like, as long as you can give me some pictures of something happening. And I think the media, the more and more I look at it, they started out right away. I think we were on NBC, and they started out right away from the very beginning, basically putting down Trump and lifting up Clinton. I mean, from before the thing even started. Well,
at the very beginning, they didn't think he stood a chance, and then all of a sudden he went through 16 people and wound up winning the nomination.
I meant at the beginning of this debate. When they were doing the intros, they're like, and we have Clinton and all of her accomplishments and Donald Trump and all the horrible things he's done, and I'm going, there's nothing fair or balanced about this at all. This is just absolutely completely one-sided.
I agree with you 100% there. I think that the media is trying to and probably accomplishing controlling this election and what's going to happen. I'm also not that confident, Sean, that there's not a major conspiracy going on, and Donald Trump may be a part of this conspiracy. And it could be, just hear me out for a second. Why would this man really want to lower his lifestyle, be president of the United States, be so selfless to do the things that he's doing? Why would he do that? Why would he then put himself before the public and get himself castigated in public, unless maybe, just maybe, it was set out in advance for this all to happen so that the Democrats could wind up having the White House, both houses of Congress, and the Supreme Court, at which point gerrymandering would be all taken over again, and you would all but eliminate the Republican Party.
Yeah, and that's, unfortunately, I agree that may be very possible. I'm praying that that's not the case, but I believe at this point anything is possible, especially when you look at, everything that's been going on, all these WikiLeaks stuff and just everything from, the election being rigged between Clinton and Bernie Sanders. That clearly was rigged. There's absolutely no ambiguity about that whatsoever.
No question about it. Going back, but I wanted to make a point about Trump. Just one more, and then I'll let you talk. Here we supposedly live in a country where you are innocent until you're proven guilty. But in these accusations that are made about Trump with regard to these indiscretions that have taken place, everybody has decided the guy is guilty, even though he adamantly denies it before he's had an opportunity. Nobody's proven anything.
Yeah, no, you're right, and that's That's what bothers me is you get the one little, you get absolute almost proof, like emails and on about Clinton, and she continues to deny it. She continues to lie about it, and the media still continues to either not air anything about it at all.
But Sean, there is proof. There is proof against Hillary Clinton. We have FBI interviews. We have congressional interviews. We have documentation. We have all those emails. We have proof that she has broken the law and that she's hurt. She's hurt the security of the United States.
Exactly. And the media just wants to bury it and keep it covered up.
Yeah.
So, but Clinton, man, he sneezed in the wrong direction and it got on somebody's arm, and, all of a sudden he physically tried to assault someone, and,
yeah.
I think I can't remember what it was. I saw something, it was like one of those fake little news headlines. It says, breaking news, Donald Trump caught ripping the tags off the end of his mattress 24 years ago, and it's literally like, it's practically, that's what it's boiled down to. No matter what he does, they're going to make a mountain out of a molehill. And with Hillary Clinton, they're going to make that mountain, they're going to push it as flat as they possibly can.
They're making a big deal about him not paying taxes possibly for 18 years. And the truth is, do you realize what kind of a loss you had to take in order for that to happen? You had to lose a tremendous amount of money. And if you didn't want people to take advantage of those opportunities under the Constitution, then you know what? The woman that had been in the Senate for 35 years or in government for 35 years should have done something to change those laws. But you think she's going to do it now that she's worth $150 million? I don't think so.
Of course not. And that is exactly the point that he made. He's like, you know what? You've had 30 years. You've been involved. You've been in the White House with your husband. You've been in the Senate. You had a chance. Why didn't you fix this when you were a senator? And he goes, I'll tell you why. Because you have so much money that it will hurt you too, and you don't want to do it. And you don't want to hurt all your constituents and all the people that are lending money to, or the people that are pouring money into your campaign. The ridiculous amount of money that she's been receiving.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's of course, people, they're gonna, and even if he didn't, let's say he, which good on him, that's when you say you got to take a lot of losses, but you're the IRS guy, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it that his corporations, aren't they paying taxes?
Oh, sure they are.
So it's not like
not only are they paying taxes, but, they not only pay taxes on their income, and we are the highest corporate tax rate in the world, but not only are they paying taxes, but when they're all done paying taxes and then they pay dividends, the recipients of the dividends have to pay more tax. They have to pay capital gains tax on the dividends that the corporation already paid tax on.
And that's the thing that I don't know why he doesn't at least touch on that. Is you know what? Maybe I paid zero taxes, but all of those 500 businesses that I built have paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes from the revenues that were generated from the businesses that I built.
Well, he did say that, but they dismiss it. He did say it, and they dismiss it.
Yeah, did he say it in the debate? In the debate or on the news?
No, not in the debate. He said it during different interviews that he's had. And he's paid, and I think he did say it on the debate too, that he's paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. He pays property taxes. He pays employment taxes. He pays, he pays all kinds of taxes. And he has to pay, in New York City, there's no exemptions. You pay the New York City tax on your income. And you pay state taxes. That does got nothing to do with the federal law.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, that's the problem I have with these type, like you say, I'm sick of the campaign. Well, I'm sick of it too, because that's just what they do. They say they give one side. Well, he never paid taxes. Yeah, actually, the revenues that he has generated because of the businesses he built have paid hundreds of millions of dollars of tax.
You know what? Not only that, Sean. Yeah. Not only did he personally pay the taxes, and his 18 years are going to end at some point. And he's going to pay exorbitant taxes then too. But you know what? Yeah. All of these tens of thousands of people that he employed, guess what? They pay taxes too.
They all pay taxes. Yeah.
And that's all a tax base that he created through jobs that he created. Just like his son, Donald Jr. said, my dad, he signs the front of a check, not the back, like you, Hillary.
I never heard that, but that's funny. It's true, but that's funny. I like that.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, he signs the front of the check, not the back of it. That's funny. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this country move forward, is people who can sign the front of the check. If you don't have anybody signing the front of the check, you're not going to have one to sign the back of.
Yeah.
So, that's a very good point. I never heard it put that way, but that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I'm really curious how this election is going to turn. Matter of fact, I'm going to send my ballot in. I'm probably going to fill it out tonight and mail it in because I won't be. I may or may not be in California during on the 8th.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna mail mine in. But either way, even if I am gonna be here on the 8th, I'm still gonna mail it in, because why stand in line if you don't have to?
Oh yeah, I always mail mine in. I got mine just came in the mail 2 days ago. I haven't opened it yet, but I already know what's in it. I got all those booklets and all those things, and I'm so sick of getting all this crap in the mail. Maureen and I are gonna sit down. We're gonna fill them out and send them in and be done with it.
You know, that's interesting. I've not received, now that you mentioned that, I never thought about that before. I haven't received anything in the mail this year about any of the candidates running at locals, county, state, federal level, anything. I've not received one flyer. Normally you get those big, they're like 5x7 or whatever size they are.
Yeah, I'm getting bombarded by 8x10s, 5x7s, little booklets.
I don't think I've gotten any, and I don't know, maybe it's just because I moved into the place I'm living in, like less than a year ago. Maybe that's why. But
oh no, that can't be it, because I just moved into this place in January.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not getting them, but I'm happy to not get them. So. Oh,
I wish I weren't getting them. Matter of fact, the truth is I get them and they go from my mailbox to my trash box.
Yeah. That's what they do with most people. Maybe that glance. Maybe they say they understand that you're just going to look at it long enough to see what it is and throw it away. But maybe there's some subliminal thing in there that they know that all it takes is for you to just look at it for it to be effective. I mean, I can't imagine that they expect people to go, "Oh, what is this to me?" Read about his agenda on the backside. 99.9% won't.
One of the things that I'm actually, and we're going to have to take a break, but one of the things that I'm actually being very, very careful about are the propositions that are out there today, because it's like taking a driver's license test. These guys write these things to confuse you so that you vote the wrong way, and you've got to be really, really careful. My dad, who died many, many years ago, once said to me, he says, "Bob, when I look at these propositions, I look to see if they're going to cost money, and if they're going to cost money, I vote no, because if I vote yes, I'm never allowed to change my mind. But if I vote no, I can change my mind down the road. But if I vote yes, that money is spent and it's gone." So they want to raise taxes. You ever heard of taxes being lowered again after they did an emergency raising? Hell no.
No. Well, that was the thing that I could not believe that these words came out of her mouth. She said, "I will not add anything to the national debt." I thought, how can she be so bold to that's
so how is she gonna cure Social Security and Medicare and entitlements?
Yeah.
Anyway. Listen, we gotta take a break and then we'll continue this conversation or get into another one, whatever we're gonna do right after this break. We're talking to our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner, and what we're trying to do is make politics healthy. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:01 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 95 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 94 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, well, it's 50 degrees with scattered clouds. And if you're in Rome, Italy, it's 58 degrees. And it is raining, by the way, there. But the other bad news is it's 1 o'clock in the morning over there, and it's tomorrow, so, who the hell cares? Just stay in bed, get room service, what the heck's going on? Anyway, Sean, what are we talking about? Are we going to continue talking about politics, or we have something we're going to talk about?
I don't know. I don't know that we actually have anything specific that we were going to talk about today. I know. You didn't send me articles like we normally do.
Oh, you know what? And I normally do, and I don't know why I didn't. There's one thing that's I find kind of interesting. Did you see this deal about Wells Fargo? They're under a criminal investigation in California.
Another one?
Well, yeah. This is the one. The CEO retired, right? Kind of immediately retired. I can't pronounce his name. Straw, something like that. He retired with a golden parachute of $130 million for allowing this thing to happen. And they're finding now. They're saying that the state's attorney general, that's here in California, is investigating whether San Francisco-based bank. Wells Fargo Bank committed false impersonation and identity theft in their sales practices. You know what they did?
Well, of course they did. They were opening, these tellers were opening accounts under people's names, using real people's names, opening accounts. And then I think these people ended up getting charged fees and all kinds of stuff because they weren't active in their account or something weird. Yeah. But They, of course, it's impersonation. It's the identity theft, big time.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. I mean,
and that's why everyone's upset. They're like, "Look what you guys did! You guys open accounts in these people's names without their permission, and nobody's even gotten fired over it." The
CEO got fired. They fired him. I mean, he was allowed to. He was allowed to retire. He was allowed to retire with a $130 million bonus.
Yeah, you know what? You could fire me right now, and I would take less than half that.
You know what? I would be allowed.
You take the 100. Just give me the $30 million. I don't even need the other 100. Yeah, you fire me this very second. I'll hang up the phone right now.
Yeah, I mean, and
then I'll drive straight to your house, and we're going to go to dinner.
Yeah, it just sort of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. To say that he got fired is, who wouldn't want to get fired and then told, here's a lifelong salary. Here's enough money to live for 20 lifetimes comfortably, 100 lifetimes. Yeah, I don't know. It boggles my mind.
Well, here's one for you that's gonna boggle your mind. The EPA delayed for 7 months in the Flint water crisis. The Environmental Protection Agency had sufficient authority and information to issue an emergency order to protect residents of Flint, Michigan from lead-contaminated water as early as, get this, June of 2015, 7 months before it declared an emergency. Can you believe this crap? And they still have not helped those people to this day.
And it is. It's a travesty. It's terrible. The problem is that it's not just Flint. Flint is in big trouble, but this is a nationwide problem. Dr. Pompa was talking about this. He goes, "You think Flint's bad?" He goes, "Wait till someone wakes up and starts testing the water in Pennsylvania. That's where he's from." He goes, "I've tested the water out there, and the lead levels are through the roof."
Yeah.
He goes, "There's so many places in this country where the water is so completely unsafe to drink that it's amazing we don't have more health problems than we do already." And it's a big contributor to all the massive chronic problems that we have. I mean, there's a big thing down in Alabama. I can't remember what it was in the water, but they were saying, look, for like 100 and some odd thousand residents, you're going, look, the water's unsafe to drink, and on and on. I mean, you can read stories about it all over the country. It's not just lead. It's lots of other things too. But
Flint, Michigan is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just
Yeah.
So listen, how humanitarian are you feeling?
How humanitarian and what
are you feeling? Because I've got this. I've got this. The headline that came out today came out just 2 hours ago.
All right, I'm always feeling humanitarian.
All right, that's because you're a good guy. Not like some of these people running for president. Anyway, this is a desperate Pakistan family awaits a U.S. visa for a 6-year-old girl. Now, here's the deal. A desperate Pakistani family anxiously awaiting a U.S. visa for their ailing little girl is running out of time. Maria is just 6 years old, but a rare genetic disease has left her frail body racked with pain and stunted her growth. Soon, she'll be unable to walk because her vertebrae are compressing her spinal cord. A U.S. hospital has offered to perform a surgery for free that could significantly improve Maria's quality of life, but the American Embassy in Islamabad has so far twice refused to give the family visas to travel to the United States. Can you believe that?
Well, yeah, I can, but it's just...
I used to arrange for people to come from Mexico to the United States for surgeries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to belong to this outfit called Missions to Baja. It was a volunteer organization. We used to go down there once a month, and we'd go with a medical crew. We'd take these small planes and go into Vizcaíno in the desert out there, the Vizcaíno Desert in Baja California, way down there, and people would be lined up a couple of days in advance in their Sunday best, sleeping on the dirt and the floor and stuff, to be seen by the doctors. We had all kinds of doctors. We had surgeons and optometrists and chiropractors and dentists and ophthalmologists. I'm telling you, everything. And people lined up, and these people were getting emergency care right there. And then once in a while, you run into somebody that you couldn't be helped there. And so I had an affiliation. I was on the board of directors at San Antonio Community Hospital, and I made arrangements to get little girls and different people here to the United States. They'd get their free surgeries, and they'd get their post-operative care, and we'd send them back. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, of course there's nothing wrong with that. So what is Pakistan's justification for not...
It's not Pakistan. It's the United States Embassy in Pakistan that won't issue the visa.
Oh, so it's not Pakistan. It's the U.S.
It's the United States is not allowing this 6-year-old girl to come here and be fixed.
But we want to let hundreds of thousands of refugees just flood into the country.
From Syria.
Yeah, I know. Whatever.
This is different. I mean, this is different. We don't. This is horrible.
Yeah, because people aren't being slaughtered by the numbers. They are being slaughtered in Pakistan. It's just not headline news.
Yeah, but I can tell you,
we just don't talk about it.
But I can tell you who didn't cause the problem. A little 6-year-old named Maria. She didn't cause the problems that are going on out there. She just happened to have been unlucky enough not to be born in the United States.
Yeah, that boggles my mind why they would say no to something. That's the whole point of having a process. This is a rare exception. Why why do they want to? I mean, it's just I just don't get stuff like that. It boggles my mind.
Yeah,
it'd be great, to see someone just go in and just scoop her up and just kidnap her and bring her back to the United States and then deal with it after the fact.
Yeah, I understand you not wanting to let terrorists into the United States. As a matter of fact, I understand not wanting to let terrorists be able to come up for air as you dip their heads underwater. I understand that concept a lot, but I don't understand being inhumane to human beings. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah. If our government wants to pretend like they're so philanthropic and they want to spend our tax dollars to bring in all these refugees and talk about how much we owe it to them and on, then show us first by taking care of people who actually or truly have a need, something that's an exceptional case like this. You do something like that, then I'll go, okay, we have room to talk. But when the U.S. government denies this, they have no room to talk about refugees, like zero, period, none. There's nothing wrong with these people. I mean, I don't know. It's just, why these men can't fight? Probably because their guns were taken away from them. I don't know why the men in that country can't. Hell, men and women. Anyone could fight. Why these people can't fight? Themselves to protect their country is beyond me. But so they want to send them here in other countries, and other countries don't want them either. But to stop a little 6-year-old girl from Afghanistan and not allowing her to come over because of God knows what,
Yeah.
I mean, how long does the vetting process take? You should be able to get this done if she's 6.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's not even the vetting process. They've been denied twice. I mean, they've gone through this process twice. This shouldn't even be a process. You know what? Put the mother and the daughter on an airplane, get her in here, get that surgery done, get the post-operative work done, and then send them home.
Yeah. That's pretty simple process.
Where she can die with real pride with a bomb.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and that's that brings up another point too that I find fascinating is we've got all this technology, and we talk about the United States being the most technological advanced medical system on the face of the planet, basically. Mm-hmm. But so people want to come here for these rare, but we have a whole industry in our country called medical tourism, and people are fleeing the country, to go on vacation to get surgeries done. Let's say you need a heart surgery, and if it's something that maybe you're waiting on a list, you can go get it done in India, or you can go get it done in Central America or South America. You can and the people are getting it done for. Not only are they getting the surgery done with all of the state-of-art equipment, but they're staying in a hotel, a hospital room that's more like a 5-star hotel. They're being fed excellent food. They're being treated well. They're in a new country. They get to go on vacation, and that's all being done for a quarter of the price that they get it done here in the United States.
That's right. I've heard this. I've heard about that.
Yeah, and it just amazes me. Why is it if our medical system is so much about helping people, which I fully believe it's not. I believe it's absolutely about.
But you would like to believe. But you would like to believe it is, wouldn't you?
I would love to believe that, but I just don't. It's not about that. I've met good physicians who can't pay their bills because they want to help people, but their hands are tied, or they don't get paid for the services that they know are going to help the person.
Sean,
they'll get paid for putting the person on drugs.
Let me interject this. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
If you happen to be a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon or a what do they call a doctor that takes care of pregnant women?
Obstetrician.
An obstetrician. Do you know? Yeah. Do you know that the malpractice insurance for those 3 doctors is $250,000 a year? And it's no wonder that medical prices and hospital prices. I can't even imagine what malpractice insurance for a hospital must be. It's no wonder that people can't afford to go to the hospital. That it's cheaper to die.
Yeah, it really is, and it's unfortunate. When people talk about, like Bernie Sanders talks about, free healthcare, or anyone else talks about free healthcare, like free healthcare is possible, but not at the prices that we have today.
Yeah, well, free healthcare is possible if you and I pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's free if everyone else pays for it. But even at the prices today, free college and free healthcare, it's not possible because of things like that. As long as we live in a litigious society where people want to sue their doctor for everything that's going on, or we've got doctors that can kill people and nothing even happens to them, it's over 100,000 people die every year just from prescription medications. That doesn't even include. It's like, I think the number is like over 400,000 a year. Just in the United States, die every single year from medical mistakes. They something happens during surgery. I've known people that
400,000 people die from medical malpractice.
Yeah, every year.
A year?
Yeah,
wow.
Every year. Yeah, it's a huge number. It's staggering, the number. And you just go, how is this possible? And of course, malpractice insurance pays for it, and I think I've even talked about this story before, just maybe because it just really just stuck with me. It was one of the real first stories that I ever heard that just blew my mind. And there was a doctor up in Denver, Colorado. This was 20 years ago, and he fell asleep during surgery. He was an anesthesiologist. An anesthesiologist has got to control the meds going in and out of your body. And he fell asleep during the surgery, and the person was over-medicated and died.
Jeez.
And he had been rebuked by the hospital either 4 or 5 times before this for falling asleep during surgery, but no one had died before, so he still had his job. And of course, the hospital just tried to kind of cover it all up. And even on this one, he said, well, I wasn't sleeping. I was just monitoring the machine with my eyes closed. It's like, well, you know what? You should have opened your eyes because someone died.
Yeah.
And, he says, I'm listening to the beeps and the tones, and that tells me everything I need to hear. And, so it's, and being in this industry that I'm in, you talk to most people, they'll say, well, I don't even know anybody who's ever died from being in a hospital or this, that. And I go, well, I've heard a lot of stories, personal, first-hand stories from people because, that's part of what I do for a living. I talk about it. People come up to me and they go, yeah, my little sister. I mean, yeah, that's a heart-wrenching one. When someone says, yeah, my little sister at 6 years old. I remember this guy telling me about his little sister who died from a surgery that she just should have been. Liposuction. I remember watching an article about a woman who went in for liposuction. And
I remember
the guy
that.
was telling this.
I remember that. Wasn't that some kind of a chemical and weight thing that was involved in the liposuction?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was.
They took too much. They took too much fat.
I think it was. They took too much fat, and she ended up bleeding out. And the doctor just he's like, well, he kind of buttoned her up and went home because I think he had realized what he had done. He didn't want to be in the office. He was so terrified. And so it happens. You can die from anything. People die, and of course, most of the time they'll say, well, they die from complications during surgery, and they're not going to come out and tell you, look, we made a mistake. And it could be a mistake that's a legitimate mistake. Maybe it was a delicate surgery. They accidentally nicked an artery, or they nicked a nerve, or something happened, and boom, the person's dead. Surgery always has a risk involved, always, every single time, and so it's tough. But yeah, the whole point of this conversation was, it's so expensive for healthcare in this country that it's there's no way we could offer for free, and so people are driving, or not driving, but they're flying to other countries to get procedures done because they can get it done for a quarter of the cost and get a better quality service along the way. It's really an unbelievable system that we built here. And you look at the major contributors, to like Hillary Clinton. That's what terrifies me the most. I don't disagree with everything Hillary Clinton says, but the fact that she is so deeply in bed with the pharmaceutical companies, that really bothers me. And I know that. Well,
I think not. It doesn't stop there. It's not just pharmaceutical companies, but it's also the AMA, and it's also Wall Street, and it's also big foreign countries, and it's anybody with big checkbooks that she's in bed with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's Monsanto. It's all big evil corporations. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, we got to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. conversation. And I got a couple of things I want to draw back on. One of the things that Sally brought up on Tuesday about domestic violence, and I also want to talk about this education thing you said, and then we'll continue any direction you want to go, but then we'll continue with this. We'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner right after these important brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street. I think Trump just walked by on the street at 4:23 p.m. Pacific time. It's 96 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire on its way down to 62. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in London, England, it's 50 degrees and cleared. If you're in Vienna, Austria, it is 39 degrees. That's cold with patches of fog. And we're talking to our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. Sean, I don't know.
What is there? Is there a clown walking by right now? Or what?
I don't. Yeah. It was that sound effect got me. Anyway, And I forget you can't hear those things. So
I can't always hear them now.
Yeah. Anyway, what it was a girl screaming right at the end of this Reveille thing. Anyhow, listen, what I wanted to talk to you about, we were talking on Tuesday to Sally, and we were talking about domestic violence, and I said that the sad thing is it doesn't look like there's any light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't look like there's a solution to this at all. And I had made the comment about, well, you know what? Why don't we just arrest these people? And Sally says, well, how do you pay for this? And I said, well, here's the thing. If somebody's reported for domestic violence, whether it be reported by the spouse or reported by a neighbor, the police should go there, respond, take them in, and have a hearing before the judge. And the judge should impose on them a fine equal to the cost of them getting professional help, like they would get from a person like Sally. And Sally said, well, they probably just wouldn't pay it. In which case, you just send them to jail. I think that might help. If this is such a horrible, horrible thing, there sometimes has to be a solution that is drastic.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Yeah, that's unfortunately it is going to have to be a drastic solution, and it does seem like there's really no solution. There's really no big term solution. You can definitely punish the individual and get them to the point where that man is in submission and behaves the way he's required to behave. But the problem systemically really still boils down to there's a whole lot more out there, and more of them are going to grow up, and more of them are going to continue. It's a perpetual thing. It's like the question that I asked. Is this cultural to the United States? Because other cultures it just doesn't seem to be. You've got the other end of the spectrum, which is way worse than us, like Saudi Arabia, which according which they have Sharia law, and in Sharia law that if your wife doesn't want to have sex with you are legally allowed to physically beat her into submission if she doesn't want to have sex with you. You're
allowed to kill her if they embarrass you as a family member. I mean, here's the thing. If we put white collar criminals in prison for years upon years, sometimes worse than if you committed murder, why can't we put somebody who is suspected of domestic violence in jail if they don't go to counseling and pay their fine that pays for that? Why can't we put them in jail for 30 days every time that happens? It's got to be a lot less than this white collar crap that we keep people in prison for.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, white collar crime is horrible, but the thing that of course everyone says, well, no one really got hurt. I mean, they did financially, but no one's getting beat on, and no one's getting
How many prostitutes do we put in jail overnight for earning a living?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another systemic problem too. What's driving that? Who do you blame? It's like obviously these men are going after these women. And of course this is a consensual arrangement. It's not a very healthy consensual arrangement.
No, but I can tell you what causes it. Marriage causes it. Once you get married, then it becomes so long between having sex, you forget who gets tied up.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. I was watching a comedian or something like that, and he said, he's like his wife, they went to the doctor and there was something wrong with them, and the doctor says, well, you guys can't have sex. What do you mean? He goes, well, what do you mean I can't have sex? You mean she can't have sex? I'm from New York and I have money.
The other thing,
funny, not funny.
Yeah. The other thing, no, but it's true. That would be funny if it weren't true.
Well, isn't prostitution basically considered to be the oldest profession on the planet?
It sure is. Yeah. It sure is. And yet we have a new law on the ballot that is going to require actors and actresses who do porno movies to wear condoms.
Huh.
We'll allow that. They get paid for that. What's the difference between that and prostitution? I guess very little. They get paid for doing this on both sides.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's definitely but they're not getting paid. I mean, they're getting paid to be an exhibitionist.
They're getting paid. They're getting paid to have sex on camera, so that those people can sell those videos to other weirdos that want to watch that crap.
Yeah.
So here's
that's another huge, another huge problem in our culture is, and it's not just us; it's worldwide. But the pornography and what it does, the unrealistic. And when I say pornography, I'm clearly talking about the triple X stuff like you and I are talking about.
Yeah.
But even things, in my opinion, even things like 50 Shades of Grey and 80% of these romance novels that are out there on the bookshelves at Barnes and Noble, they both do the same thing. Women are attracted to something very different than men. Men want to see, they're very visual. They want to see the physical act. That's what turns them on. For people to say that there's no difference between men and women is such poppycock that it's ridiculous. And men are driven by the physical act, and they want to see it, and it turns them on. Women get excited about more of a romantic side, the whatever this. I've never even read any of these novels, but there's something in them that attracts women, and women read them nonstop.
Yeah.
They're in fact, I actually years and years ago when I was in my early 20s or whatever, I worked at Barnes and Noble, and the largest section of Barnes and Noble was the romantic fantasy section. It was all these Harlequin romance type novels. I know Harlequin's probably just one of many, but the point is that even those reflect an unrealistic image or portray an image of how a man should be that most men probably couldn't live up to. Think about this 50 Shades of Grey guy. He's handsome, he's in control, he's wealthy, he's got this real edge about him sexually, on and on. And what man can live up to that standard? Very few men can, just like most women can't live up to the standard of what these women do in these porn movies. And it's become a very unhealthy expectation, I guess is the word I want to use on both sides. It's not just the physical pornography like you're talking about where they get paid to do this, but I mean, even movies like let's pick someone like Channing Tatum. All these women go Google it. They the same women who complain about the unrealistic expectations of women from all these breast augmentations and plastic surgery and starving themselves and on. They're going to drool over Channing Tatum, and it's like you can't have it both ways. Channing Tatum is a very handsome man, but that's a hard standard for any man to live up to. And we love to point out the one side of this is the image that women are having to deal with, and it's really, but men live men live their whole lives struggling to make money to make their wives happy, and of course a lot of women will say, well, we don't need all that money. Well, most men go, I don't need a woman who looks like a Barbie doll either. I just want you to love me and be passionate, and is it nice when you're physically fit? Great, it's awesome. Who doesn't like that? But what woman doesn't like it when a man's got enough money that she doesn't have to worry about paying the bills or putting dinner on the table, but we definitely have reached a point in our society where, it's so funny. I look around and I look at even our cars that we drive. They've got all these bells and whistles. I used to drive a '65 Ford F-100 just not too long ago. It was my daily driver. You know what? I miss that truck so much. It didn't even have power brakes or power steering. Was it as safe as the vehicles on the road? No, of course not. I almost got in a horrible accident actually a couple times. One time I went to hit the brakes and the brakes failed on me, and one of my brake drums actually snapped, and I ended up running a red light. Fortunately, everyone else saw what was coming and they avoided the accident. But my point is not that we need to go back to that, but we talk about how hard it is. People can't live off of one income families anymore. That both mom and dad have to go work. Well, when you're paying $50,000 for a car, when the average car, back in the 50s cost $2,000, well, there's a reason why you both need to work. Maybe we don't need cars that have 12 airbags in them and satellite radio and TVs and chairs that fold up into 20 different positions and all these different, I don't need a car with 500 horsepower. Is it cool to have one? Yeah. But do they need to make that as a production line car? No, of course not. And so the standard has been created in our society that in all levels, it's not just sexuality, it's everything that we are always constantly, as they say, keeping up with the Joneses, and we as a society have driven ourselves
let's talk about keeping up with the Joneses. We've only got I don't know what we got, 4 minutes left here before we have to part ways. And I want to talk about the comment about the free education for college. And there's a part of me that wants to say, we really could do this, Sean. All we would simply have to do is fire the legislators who reduced the school budgets because of the California lottery. If they, the schools were supposed to get additional cash because of the lottery, they weren't supposed to have their general fund removed. Now, if the legislators hadn't removed that money from the general fund, what's the word I want to use, isolated for schools, then there would be plenty of money. Where are these millions upon millions upon millions, billions of dollars going that were supposed to go to schools? Even the schools aren't getting their fair share of that thing, and yet their school budget has been eliminated from the state general fund.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of the equation is, the budget has got to be there. We've got to fund the schools. But also, again, it goes back to, you look at the way we build schools. Again, they're these huge, you can walk into the entryway of most universities, and the ceiling is 20 feet high and on and on. Do we need these extravagant,
Well, no problem. Absolutely not. We don't, but we already have them and we shouldn't just discard them.
Yeah, well, we shouldn't discard them. We got them. But what I'm saying is we're spending the amount of money that we spend on building colleges, the amount of money that we pay these professors is extraordinary.
Well, here's the point that you're not getting. You said it. You've just already made the point for me. You know what? These schools, I'm talking about state schools, I'm talking about public schools, they are not being paid for by taxes. That's what they were supposed to be paid for by. They're being paid for by the lottery winnings, people that are playing the lottery. You and I are paying for lottery tickets, or maybe you're not, maybe you're, but the truth is,
I'm not.
But that money is what's going, a portion of it's what's going to the schools to operate the schools. It's not coming out of the general tax fund where it's supposed to be coming from. And if it was, then this additional money would be plenty to send people to college education with parameters requiring them not just going to get an MRS degree or to be a lifelong student, but to actually get an education that would benefit society.
Yeah, and these colleges, these state, you would think a private college, I get it, it's expensive. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
Push that aside. State colleges should be affordable, but to go to a major state university, you're talking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. Not, it used to. I think I paid. I don't remember how much it was. It was definitely less than $10,000 a year. It was
my granddaughter is going to NYU, and it's costing my son $80,000 a year.
Yeah, $80,000 a year. The school, UC Irvine, I live just a couple miles away from UC Irvine. UC Irvine is considered one of the top.
You got 1 minute. 1 minute, Sean.
It's I'll wrap it up in a minute for sure. One of the top 100 schools in the country. In the world. And it's so expensive. The problem is you have all these foreign nationals that come and they've got the money and they're going to come here. And you look at UC Irvine, it's probably 80 to 90% Asian and Indian, and that there's not a lot of Americans that are going to school there.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is Americans can't afford school, and our school systems are being subsidized by foreign nationals. And the point is we're denying our own people a good education because it's become so expensive, and there's something in that system that's got to change because we can't keep going down this road.
Boy, that's for sure. Hey, listen, unfortunately, we are not only out of time, we are way out of time. And so I'm not even going to ask you what we're going to talk about on Tuesday, but I know it'll be really interesting. And 2 weeks from today, we're going to spend 2 hours. I'm going to try and develop some kind of a special show for that time.
Perfect.
And then we'll see you around noontime 2 weeks from today.
Yep, absolutely perfect.
All right. Well, we're talking to our own Sean Lefebvre in the Geared for Wellness Corner. Sean, go out and make it a great weekend. Have a great time. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Just anticipate the magnificent taste of this jambalaya that I'm going to fix you 2 weeks from today. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. And then after that, our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. It's still 96 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, on its way down to 62 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Madrid, Spain, well, it's 57 degrees and it's misty. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, it's 77 degrees and it's partly cloudy. But you know what, right now, I want to talk to you about the Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is take a vacation to boost your productivity. Well, you know, studies show that Americans are taking less vacation than they ever have before. In fact, more than half of Americans, about 55%, let their vacation days go to waste, which equates to 658 million unused vacation days. Now, remember, this is paid time off. By not taking your allotted days, you're essentially volunteering for your company. Foregoing your vacation might be worth it if doing it made you more successful, but studies show that people who take more vacation days are actually more likely to receive a raise or a bonus. So go away. Plan ahead, too. Your vacation will only improve your energy and outlook upon returning to work if you plan it at least a month in advance and get far away from work. That's physical and emotional distance. And be sure to relax, will you? A stressful vacation eliminates any of the positive benefits of taking that time off. So keep that in mind. That's actually good advice, even if it weren't for business. It'd be good personal advice anyhow. Now let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. And you know that this is all about a positive mental attitude. And I tell you, every day you decide, no one else, you decide if you're going to be rich or poor, if you're going to be successful or a failure, if you're going to be sad or happy. You decide it every morning. When you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you say to yourself, gosh, I'm going to have a wonderful, productive, fantastic, profitable day today. And then you just keep that mindset, and that's exactly what will happen. Nobody else controls your life and the outcome of what happens day to day, but you. You do it. Now, our secret for today is focusing on perfect health is something that we can all do within ourselves, despite what may be happening on the outside. Just, take it to heart, for Pete's sake. I'm not just talking to entertain you. I'm giving you some really valid information. Now, you know what today is. Sure you do. You do. I do. Everybody does. It's Thursday, October the 20th, and it's somebody's birthday. And we've got some terrific birthdays today, so you know what? We might as well just get right to them. This first fellow was born in 1925. He passed away in 2007. He was a humorist, best known for his long-running column that he wrote in the Washington Post. Happy birthday, Art Buchwald. And born in 1950, a singer, songwriter, and the frontman of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Happy birthday. Can you guess? Sure. Tom Petty, of course. And finally, born in 1971, a Grammy Award-nominated American rapper, record producer, and actor, best known as the Mike in the hip-hop scene. Happy birthday, Snoop Dogg. Yeah. Ever wonder where they get these kind of names? Well, you ever wonder what happened today in history? Don't have to wonder anymore, because I'm about to tell you. On October the 20th, 1955, publication of The Return of the King being the last part of The Lord of the Rings. And in 1968, former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy marries Greek shipping tycoon Aristotle Onassis. Yeah. And then, in 1977, a plane carrying Leonard Skinner crashes in Mississippi, killing lead singer Ronnie Van Zant and guitarist Steve Gaines, along with backup singer Casey Gaines, the road manager, pilot, and co-pilot. Wow. Well, you know what? Our quote for today comes from John Burroughs, and John says, I still find each day too short for all the thoughts that I want to think, all the walks that I want to take, all the books that I want to read, and all the friends that I want to see. Wow, I like that. That's really a good quote. Let's do it again. I still find each day too short for all the thoughts I want to think, all the walks I want to take, all the books I want to read, and all the friends that I want to see. God, that's fantastic. I like that. Well, you know what? It's time for us to talk about interesting but useless facts. We've got a few of them, and we've got a little time, so let's do it. Did you know that the Sea of Tranquility is found on the moon? Yeah, that's where Neil Armstrong landed. And you know that Dooley Wilson appeared as Sam in the movie Casablanca. Dooley was a drummer, not a pianist in real life. The man who really played the piano in Casablanca was a Warner Brothers staff musician who was at the piano off camera during the filming. Play it again, Sam. Yeah. And did you know it takes 40 minutes to hard boil an ostrich egg? Wow. A lot more than the 12 minutes it takes for a chicken egg. That's quite a difference, huh? You ever had an ostrich egg? I have. I had a cousin that brought an ostrich egg home one day. First of all, it took forever to get the doggone egg open, and then it took forever to kind of scramble it. But one ostrich egg fed 4 of us, and we still had a lot left over. That's a big, big egg. You know, the fur of the vicuna is a small member of the camel family, which lives only in the Andes Mountains of Peru, is so fine that each hair is less than 2/1000ths of an inch thick. Now, the animal was considered sacred by the Incas, and only royalty could wear its fleece. Wow. I didn't know that. I don't know that I care, but I didn't know that. How about this? The highest temperature ever recorded in the world was 136.4 degrees Fahrenheit at Al Azizia, Libya, on September the 13th, 1922. Well, let me give you another one here. Did you know that the largest stained glass window in the world is at Kentucky International Airport in New York? I'm sorry, at Kennedy International Airport in New York City. It can be seen on the American Airlines terminal building and measures 300 feet long by 23 feet high. If you've ever seen it, it is magnificent. Well, Florida is not the southernmost state in the United States, you know. Hawaii is further south than Florida because of the tilt of the axis of the earth. Yeah, give that some thought. I think it would be anyway. All right, let me leave you with this one. The average speed for a migrating duck is 50 miles an hour. God, can you imagine that? That's really, really fast. Yeah. Well, listen, folks, don't go away. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. He was simply the biggest and best voice in America. He reveals the startling heartbeats behind the headlines. I'll tell you all about those right after we come back from this break.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:54 p.m. Pacific time, currently 96 degrees. This hadn't budged at all. And here in the heart of the Indian Empire in Southern California. But you know what? It's going on its way down to 64 degrees. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you happen to be in Sydney, Australia, well, it's 72 degrees with some scattered clouds. And if you're in Auckland, New Zealand, it's 61 degrees and it is clear. I've been to both places. They are lovely. They're wonderful. Matter of fact, Tokyo is 73 degrees and partly cloudy. But right now, what I really want to do is I want to start the tribute to our late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Yes, sir. You know what? Paul Harvey was one of America's favorite radio and TV commentators. He was heard on over 775 ABC radio stations and over 400 foreign stations. He's been seen on 110 television stations, read on 300 newspapers, and recipient of numerous awards and honors, including 9 honorary degrees. He's on Gallup Poll's list of America's most admired men. And if you never had the opportunity to listen to Paul Harvey, boy, did you miss something. He was just phenomenal. Well, today's story is Uneasy Rider. Yeah, you know what? Gladys was a beautiful woman with a taste for Norwegian men. Edward was a tall, handsome Norwegian with a taste for fast motorcycles. Back in the 20s, Gladys and Edward were lovers, and they had a child. Edward Mortensen had been born in Norway in 1897. He started out as a banker's apprentice, later opened his own bakery. Oh, I guess that was not a banker's apprentice, that was a baker's apprentice. Anyway, Ed eventually got married, had 3 children, developed a lust for fast motorcycles and fast women, deserted his family in 1923, came to the United States. He became an itinerant baker, working briefly in one city and then traveling on to another. He left in his wake a trail of pie crusts and pastry icing and broken hearts. Gladys was just one of those broken hearts. Gladys's earlier husband had deserted her. She was alone and had few friends when along came Ed, the Don Juan doughboy of Norway. Well, things went well between Gladys and Ed for a while. Gladys knew about Ed's past, but this time it seemed as though Ed might settle down. She couldn't have known that it always seemed that way. One day, Gladys told Ed that she was pregnant. Ed just looked at her, expressionless, said nothing. They might get married, suggested Gladys. They might get married and give their child a good home. After all, Ed had a job, and with their combined salaries, still, Ed said nothing. He turned, went out the door, got on his motorcycle. Gladys never saw him again. For many months, Ed stayed on the road, traveling from town to town. He took a job baking one place, took a lover the next, the eternal cookie Casanova. The girls went for his Norwegian accent and motorcycle, an uneasy rider with a child somewhere whom he would never meet. Yet, this one rejected responsibility began to haunt him. What would it grow up to be? A bum? Like himself? An endless searcher with a string of broken hearts? Ed would never know the answer. On June 18th of 1929, on a road leading from Youngstown to Akron, Ohio, Ed tried to pass a car on his motorcycle. He met head-on with a Hudson sedan. He fell to the ground, unconscious, both legs broken, paralyzed. His motorcycle was in pieces. In a few hours, at the hospital, Ed died. He was buried in a pauper's grave in Youngstown, virtually forgotten, though the father of one of Hollywood's most publicized stars. And that is the rest of the story. Although Ed was gone, the trail of broken hearts would lead on and on. Ed's little girl, his daughter by Gladys, would walk it alone through the heat of the camera, lights in the cold of the white chiffon. She became Marilyn Monroe. And now you know the rest of the story. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Just an amazing story. Well, you know what? On tomorrow's show, John Matthews, Joe Hakels, and I are going to be here. We'll be talking about conservative politics on our semi-weekly simulcast. David Garrett's going to be here, too, with Garrett on the Law, taking current events and applying the law to it. And then I'll continue our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey with the rest of the story. And in the meantime, I want you to tell all your friends and neighbors about our show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. And you know what? Get our app. It's absolutely free. Download it, and you'll be able to listen to our shows anytime, 24/7, whether they're live or recorded. In the meantime, have a wonderful evening and a wonderful time, and stay safe, will you? That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by
midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.